What happens when you bring a cute alien jellybean home from Mars and try to poke it with science until it becomes God? Spoiler alert. Everyone dies. Welcome back to Movie Man, the channel where we explain why space is terrifying and why the real final frontier is bad decisions. We open aboard the International Space Station, where a $200 billion orbital Airbnb is about to intercept a Martian soil sample from a returning probe. Naturally, this capsule gets whacked by debris because space is basically Mad Max with zero gravity. Enter Rory Adams, astronaut, engineer, and professional Ryan Reynolds cameo. His job is to catch the capsule with a robotic arm or hurl it into the void like an angry X. He barely grabs it, risking life and limb, mostly limb. He caught it, ladies and gentlemen. Just barely. Like the movie caught your attention for 5 minutes before traumatizing you. Inside the lab, British exobiologist Hugh Derry plays petting zoo with Martian dirt and finds a single dormant cell. He revives it with CO2, glucose, and the power of, what could possibly go wrong? Trademark. The creature grows fast. Like, Baby Yoda meets hentai villain fast. School kids name it Calvin because if you're gonna die screaming, it may as well be at the hands of something named after an elementary school. I'd have gone with something more accurate, like, Murder Slime, or, Space Satan. But sure. Calvin. Calvin's doing yoga with its cells. It's all muscle, all brain, all eyeball, the perfect organism. If Ridley Scott had a nickel for every time that phrase was used, he could finally retire. After a lab mishap, Calvin plays dead. Hugh zaps it back to life, and Calvin responds the only way he knows how, by absolutely destroying Hugh's hand and using a lab tool to jailbreak out of its glass crib. Imagine reviving a space jelly just to have it crush your hand and invent tools. Hugh, buddy, this is how Alien, the Hugh cut, starts. Rory rushes in to save Hugh and immediately gets nominated for most painful death in space movie history. Calvin pulls a full xenomorph and dives down his throat like a frat boy at a jello shot party. Rory dies in horrible fashion. Calvin pops out like he just won America's Got Talent, and now it's officially a horror movie. Commander Katerina goes outside to fix the antenna, because communication blackout is a horror trope staple. Calvin follows her out, punches a hole in her suit's coolant system, and she slowly drowns inside her helmet. She chooses not to open the airlock, sacrificing herself to keep Calvin out. In space, no one can hear you scream, but they can watch you drown in your own space juice. Thanks, Ridley Scott. The gang tries to yeet Calvin into space using the station's thrusters. But guess what? Calvin learns. Like Skynet. But slimier. The ISS loses too much fuel and begins falling toward Earth. Because again, space is a mistake. When Hugh, mysteriously, flatlines, the crew realizes Calvin's been living in his leg like a squatter and feeding off him like a protein bar. He then goes full venom and attacks the crew again. Shaw locks himself in a pod while Calvin does a sexy little murder dance on the glass. David and Miranda use Hugh's corpse as bait, because in this film, everyone is either bait, meat, or both, and trap Calvin in a module by venting the oxygen. There are no redshirts in this movie, just meat puppets slowly checking out. Earth sends a Soyuz capsule to push the ISS into space like a giant cosmic Roomba. Shaw thinks it's a rescue and goes full anime protagonist, running out to greet it. Unfortunately, Calvin says, "Sup," and crashes the whole party. Docking breach. Everyone dies. Calvin equals 5, humans equals 0. David and Miranda are the last ones standing. So they decide on the oldest trick in the book, the decoy escape pod. David lures Calvin into his pod and plans to launch himself and our nightmare fuel into deep space while Miranda jets safely home. Of course, nothing goes according to plan. One pod hits debris. The other re-enters Earth's atmosphere and lands gently in the ocean near some very unlucky fishermen. The pod opens. Surprise! It's David's pod. He's alive, barely. Webbed up like Spider-Man's leftovers. He's trying to scream, "Don't open the pod." But the fishermen, not speaking horror movie logic, ignore him. Cut to Miranda. Oh yeah, she's floating off into the abyss. Probably headed to Interstellar 2, still not her kids. So yeah, Calvin survives. Earth is basically boned. Humanity's fate now rests in the hands of 3 fishermen who probably just wanted to catch tuna and ended up catching doom. Life is what you get if you mix Alien, The Thing, and Gravity, but with 100% less hope. It's a cynical take on our obsession with exploration, showing that not all life is meant to be found, and sometimes the unknown wants you dead. Hard. With tentacles. Calvin is terrifying not just because it's deadly, but because it evolves faster than your Wi-Fi drops out. It's smart, adaptable,